So before I say why she's trending, it's important to know that Jules Smith just confirmed that him and Skai were in a relationship together. Jules is 16 and Skai is 18. Jules went on Instagram Live this week and said that him and Skai are no longer together, but confirmed that they were. Jules is Solange's son and Beyoncé's nephew. Now Jules and Skai are trending because an inappropriate video of them doing stuff together is on Twitter. People are wondering how this video got out or why people are sending it or looking at it. Allegedly, Skai cheated on Jules and Jules wanted to ruin her life, and part of that may have been posting the video as revenge.
Beyoncé's nephew Jules tried to get an intimate tape of himself, and Skai Jackson posted online when he was still a minor. He literally sent the footage to a popular Instagram page months before it leaked. And the only reason they didn't post it was because he was underage and Skai had just turned 18, which meant the content was legally classified as child exploitation material. The page that received it, The Vault, confirmed all of this publicly, saying Jules had been out to get Skai from day one and that he sent them the videos back in August. And when a member of Skai's family threatened to take him to court over it, his response was to tell them his aunt is Beyoncé and that he'd never get sued. He said that with his whole chest in a text message, while simultaneously bragging to his group chat about how he ruined this girl's life on purpose. And now, this same person just announced he's hosting a gay club in Atlanta, which has the entire internet revisiting every single rumor that's been following him for years. The allegations about being closeted, the trans influencer DM situation, all of it. So let me lay this whole thing out because the pattern here is genuinely disturbing. And the sexuality conversation is honestly the least important part of the story. Okay, so the speculation about Jules being gay has actually been circulating since 2020. He was on Instagram Live just hanging out with fans when someone in the comments straight up asked him if he was gay. He ignored it at first, but then another person jumped in and not only accused him of being gay, but alleged he was in a relationship with Nicki Minaj's hairstylist, Arrogant Tay. And that's when Jules finally responded, saying he's not gay and questioning why people keep saying that.
Look, you know, like the first time I ever heard myself in the media was I was in 7th grade and my mom had posted this picture of me. I was dressed as LL Cool J. I had like this red jumpsuit. Yes. I'm 13 at the time. Mind you, I had a girlfriend at the time. I went to school and my girlfriend showed me a picture that my mom posted. It was on some media shit. And these grown adults was calling me gay at 13 because they were saying I'm pretty. I'm a pretty boy. And so look, so this is how I kind of think of it. I started modeling and I went from bashing women to automatically now I'm gay. And then look, listen, I just declined the interview at the spot and now I'm homophobic. So I went from bashing women to now I'm gay to now I hate gay people.
And at the time, that was enough. He denied it. People moved on, and the conversation died down. But then last year, it came back in a way that was much harder to dismiss. An Atlanta-based trans influencer named Brazy claimed that Jules slid into her DMs trying to fly her out to his city. She posted screenshots of the messages, and they were specific he was telling her she's his type and that he could handle her in the bedroom. Now, Jules never publicly responded to those screenshots. What he allegedly did instead was have his lawyer send her a cease and desist to get her to stop talking about it. And I need to point something out here because the pattern of how this man handles situations is very consistent. He doesn't deny things with explanations. He denies them with threats and legal pressure. That's not how someone who has nothing to hide typically operates. And then just days ago, a gay club in Atlanta announced that Jules would be hosting an event there. And before anyone else could even react to the announcement, Jules himself had already tweeted about how excited he was, saying it was going to be two-turn. No hesitation, no attempt to distance himself from it, no framing it as just a business opportunity. He was genuinely hyped. And look, hosting a gay club doesn't make someone gay, that's obvious. But when you combine it with the 2020 allegations, the trans influencer DMs, the cease and desist instead of a real denial, and years of speculation, people are connecting dots whether he wants them to or not. And honestly, if Jules is gay or bisexual or however he identifies, that's his business and there's nothing wrong with it. But what is everybody's business is how he has treated the women in his life, because that track record is horrifying regardless of his sexuality. Let's talk about what he did to Skai Jackson, because this is the part that should have ended his public goodwill permanently. In 2021, an intimate video of Jules and Skai leaked. His voice was audible in the footage, and Skai could be seen covering her face. But this wasn't some hack or some third-party leaking private content. Jules sent that video to his own group chat, on purpose. And the messages from that group chat leaked too, and they are genuinely sickening. He was bragging to his friends about the whole situation, saying he got Skai hooked on being intimate with him and then left her because she cheated. When a friend asked why she was posting about throwing Libra men away if she was the one who cheated, Jules responded that he made sure to ruin her life. He said that with zero remorse, like it was an accomplishment.
I did not choose to see this. I opened Twitter and that's what I saw. And yes, I'm still calling it Twitter. I feel like this happened a couple years ago with him and Skai Jackson, and that was a whole thing of him allegedly releasing the tape of them. But now it's something else, and it's getting weird. Like, you're Beyonce's nephew, you're Solange Knowles' son. Did they not teach him no face, no case, or don't send videos to people?
And then when Skai's family member contacted him, threatening legal action since the leaked content technically qualifies as revenge material, Jules told them his aunt is Beyoncé and that nobody could sue him. He called them an idiot. He told them to stop leaking chats or they'd see what happens. He was 17 years old, talking like he was untouchable, using his aunt's name as a legal shield while distributing intimate content of a young woman without her consent. And the timeline makes it even worse because the vault confirmed that Jules had sent them the footage months before it leaked to his group chat. He was actively shopping this tape around, trying to get it posted publicly. The only thing that stopped it from going out earlier was that he was a minor, which made the content illegal to distribute. So this wasn't a moment of poor judgment or an impulsive mistake. This was a calculated, months-long effort to humiliate someone using their most private moments. And he was doing this as a teenager. That level of intentional cruelty at that age is not something you grow out of easily.
Sometimes bullies will send you hate on social media because it's easy to forget that there's a person on the other side of the screen.
For me, I mean, growing up at a young age in the limelight and on social media, I joined social media. I joined Twitter when I was 10 and I got my Instagram when I was 11. So when I joined Instagram, I did notice like a lot of hate comments, or people would just like nitpick at my appearance just to be funny. And a lot of people go through this.
And then there was the situation with his ex-girlfriend Adore, which added another layer of mess to everything. She came out publicly claiming that Jules had gotten her pregnant, but the story got murky fast because Jules fired back with screenshots showing Adore herself texting him and telling him to tell people it's fake. So either she was pregnant and then tried to backtrack, or the whole thing was fabricated from the start, and it was never actually confirmed whether she was even pregnant at all. What did come out from their leaked conversations was that Adore told Jules she wouldn't take Plan B or get an abortion, and his response was to tell her that decision made her less attractive to him. So you've got a teenage girl making a statement about her own body, and his reaction is to basically tell her she's less appealing for having boundaries. And that detail, small as it might seem compared to everything else, tells you something real about how Jules views the women around him. They're only valuable when they're cooperating with whatever he wants, and the moment they assert themselves, he loses interest or turns hostile. Whether Adore was actually pregnant or not, the dynamic those messages revealed is consistent with everything else we've seen from him. Now, when it comes to Solange, and this is the part people have been waiting on word on the street, is that she's fully supportive of Jules in whatever he wants to do, including being an ally for the LGBTQ community. And honestly, that tracks with who Solange has always been publicly.
What's so ironic is at my shows, about 60% of them are gay men. And I just feel so at home with them because I feel like with that community, I'm able to embrace exactly who I am and there's no judgment. And I feel like that has a lot to do with it. You know, sometimes I meet some of the most expressive people visually through the mind and through how they speak. And I just totally feel at home, like I can do whatever, say whatever.
She's been openly supportive of gay people for her entire career, so extending that same support to her own son is completely consistent. She was quiet through all the Skai Jackson mess and the trans influencer DMs and the Adore situation, but apparently the club hosting announcement is where she's decided to speak on things.
I feel like moving to New Orleans and putting him in school there was a good move for keeping him humble. He's just around a lot of like sweet, nice, normal kids. And also around a lot of kids who get disciplined, may have similar discipline.
Do you discipline? Do you do a pow-pow?
I do. Often? And not often.
Sorry.
But if he gets completely out of line, and I've tried the 3 steps, which is like the look, the talk is 1. 2 is taking away something that's of value to him. And then 3, if 1 and 2 didn't work, you need your butt. pop.
And the fact that her response is support rather than any kind of public reckoning with everything else her son has done is interesting, because there's a whole list of behavior that probably deserves a conversation before we get to the part about which club he's hosting on a Saturday night. And that's really what makes this whole situation so frustrating. The internet is laser focused on whether Julez is gay, and that's the least consequential question in this entire story. A young man distributed intimate content of a woman without her consent, bragged about ruining her life, used his aunt's name to threaten people out of legal consequences, told a girlfriend her bodily autonomy made her less attractive, allegedly slid into a trans influencer's DMs, and then sent a cease and desist when she went public, and has shown a pattern of silencing people through intimidation rather than accountability every single time he gets caught. Whether he's gay, straight, bisexual, or anything else doesn't change a single one of those facts. And the fact that his last name connects him to Beyoncé has apparently been enough to shield him from real consequences for all of it. That protection won't last forever though, because the internet doesn't forget, and every new headline just brings all the old receipts back to the surface.